Hi guys, happy Tuesday. I hope you all did well yesterday with graphing systems of equations. We are going to pick more back up with it tomorrow, but tomorrow you're going to see some equations that aren't in slope intercept form. So I just wanted to kind of take today to revisit going from standard to slope intercept form. I know you did learn it with Miss Robinson, but, I just figured I can work with you for the day just to make sure everyone's on par with everything. After you finish this, there's 6 practice problems I'm going to work with. You could either A, print out the PDF that has the 6 problems, or you could just take out a sheet of paper and write down each problem as I go. Definitely make sure you are practicing with it. Don't just watch the video and just, watch me, but actually try yourself too. Okay, after that, you will do a quizzes and then the daily check-in. Okay, so a couple quick tips on going from standard to slope intercept form. Okay. First off, you want to move the x term first by adding or subtracting. Okay. And that's if it's on the same side as the y. Okay, so if the x and y are both on the same side, the first term you move away is the x term, and you do that by adding or subtracting. And finally, if there is a coefficient, which remember is the number in front of the y, or in front of a variable in general, you want it to divide by the coefficient in front of y to every single term on the other side. Okay. Problem 1. 4y equals 8x plus 12. Okay, so remember, make sure you get a sheet of paper out and you're doing these with me, or if you printed out the lesson. Okay, just please, please, please try these on your own. Well, not on your own, but with me. Okay, so first things first. My first tip was to move the x term if it's on the same side. Okay, however, the x term is already on the side we want it, so we don't need to do anything for that. Now, I want to get the y by itself, so in order to get the 4 out, anytime it's connected with the y, or you want to divide by 4, and you do that to every single term. What that's going to do is that's going to cancel this out, leaving you y equals. Now you complete the math on the other side and simplify down anything. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now we have 2x. And then 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now, if you notice, this is in y equals mx plus b format. So then at that point, you can continue to graph. Okay. Okay, problem number 2. Again, make sure you're writing these down and practicing. Always feel free to even maybe pause the video right now and try one on your own. Okay, or maybe even before I start each problem, pause it, try it on your own, and then check in and see if you got the same answer as me. Okay, so I want the y by itself. Okay, so again, tip number 1 is that if you ever have an x term on the same side as the y, you want to move that first. Since it's a positive 9x, I'm going to subtract 9x to both sides. That cancels this out. I'm going to bring down the 3y because I have not touched that yet. Now, obviously you cannot combine 12 and a negative 9x. My suggestion would be always to put the x term first because, again, your goal is to get it in y equals mx plus b. So you want that x term first. Now, this x term, whatever sign's in front of the number stays with the number. So since it's a minus 9x, it represents a negative 9x. This 12 right here, it's positive. So since it's positive, I'm going to put a plus 12. Now I only have the 3 left in front of the y. So again, since it's attached to like that, we're going to divide. You divide it to every single term. Okay, that cancels that out. Now we're left with y equals negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3x. And then 12 divided by 3 is 4. And again, that's in y equals mx plus b. So we are good. Problem number 3. Again, draw my line, box my y, because that's my goal. I want to get that by itself, just like solving equations. I move my x term first. Since it's a negative 4x, I'm going to add 4x. Negative 4x plus 4x, that cancels out. I'm going to bring down my 2y. Again, you want the x term to go first. So I'm going to do 4x since it's positive. And then this is negative 16. So I'm going to do minus 16. Final step, I'm going to divide by 2 to every single term. Now I have y equals 4 divided by 2 is 2x. Then negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. Y equals 2x minus 8. Problem number 4. I'm going to get the y by itself. I do have an x term on that same side. Since it's a positive 3x, I'm going to subtract 3x to both sides. That cancels that out. I'm going to bring down my y. Again, the x term goes first because, again, my goal is y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to do negative 3x. Then this 2 is positive, so I'm going to put a plus 2. Now, when I look back at my y here, the coefficient, if there's nothing there, that means it's just 1. So there's no need to even divide everything by 1. So here's your final answer. Y equals negative 3x plus 2. So in that case, you only had one step to do it. Problem number 5. Remember, I hope you're doing these at home as you're watching the video. Remember, maybe pause it, try it on your own, and then check in to see if you get the right answer. Okay. Again, I want my y by itself. I do have an x term on that side. It's a positive 5x, so I'm going to move 5x. Now, be careful. Be careful. This is a negative y, which is like a negative 1. Okay? If you notice the last example, it was a plus sign. So it was okay for me to just bring down a y because it was a positive y. But if you have that negative in front, remember I always say whatever sign's in front of the number stays with the number. Okay? Now I'm going to bring my x term first. I'm going to do negative 5x. My 10 is positive. Okay. Now, this one you do still have to take a step to get the y by itself because your y right now is negative. So since that's negative 1y, I'm going to divide by -1 to every single term. And I remember talking to you guys about this at the beginning of the year. What that's going to do is going to change over all the signs for all the terms. -5 divided by -1 is +5x. And then 10 divided by -1 is -10. So I'm going to put a -10. And there you go. So y equals 5x minus 10. Okay. And problem number 6, the last one I'm going to work with you guys. Okay, and then you'll jump on to the quizzes. Okay, I want my y by itself, so box that out. I have a -2x here. So again, I want to move the whole term, so I'm always either adding or subtracting with the x. I'm going to add 2x. Okay, now I have 3y equals 2x plus 6. Okay, because remember, my 2x was positive, and then my 6 is positive. Now I'm going to divide by the 3 to every single term. Now I'm left with y equals 2/3. I can't do anything with, okay? I can't simplify it. It's just going to stay in fraction form. Again, that's my slope. So all that means is when I'm graphing, I would go up 2, right 3. Okay, that's your slope. And there we go. Okay. So I hope that you again followed along with me. Okay. Maybe write down the problems again and try them again on your own. Okay. Now make sure you go on to your quizzes. And then once you do your quizzes, okay. Okay, then you're going to do your daily check-in. Okay, your quizzes, just a reminder, please make sure you use your name. I want to see first and last. Okay, all 3 classes are going into this. Okay, so I need to see your first and last name. Okay, you will be graded on this. Okay, so I want you to try your best. And I will tell you that you can take 2 tries. Okay. So when you go on, try your best. Okay. If the score doesn't work out too well, then you can try it again. Okay. And then your daily check-in. Good luck. Take your time. Also, the quizzes has a couple of questions from yesterday as well. Okay. So just make sure that you have your notes out and ready to go. Okay. Good luck. And again, email me right on the wall of the Google Classroom or anything if you have any questions.